Yeah, we'll usually record for like a 40 minutes and I'll cut some time out. Do you want to do some vocal warm-ups?
Yeah, that's fine. The Tooth Fairy understands the logistics of missionary. The Riddler enjoys diddling. You could take it.
My mom scissored the Secretary of Defense. Hawk 2 took a course from Rob Huberman.
I think I'm kind of ready.
All right, cool.
Rebrand! Ding!
Hello, beloved consumers. I'm Mort Burke, and welcome to Rebrand, a comedy podcast where we inject new life into tired old brands, whether they be snack food, celebrities, or religious institutions. You guys, I'm sad to say that my sweet, beautiful, loving wife has come down ill, and so she's not going to be here for this podcast. I've got a guest with us who I'm so happy to have. He's goddamn hilarious. He's one of my favorite stand-ups in Los Angeles. You may remember him from Kill Tony. Everybody, welcome my friend, a beautiful genius, Dane Anthony.
Hello.
Dane, I love your stand-up. You're working your ass off, and it's great. Any advice for anybody out there who is thinking about doing stand-up?
You know what? Just be a little silly goose. If you're like, oh, that makes me feel like a silly goose, then go do that. But if you're like, oh, I'm trying to make these other people, see the genius that I wrote, nah, don't do that.
Yeah, so you advocate for goosing.
If you don't goose, then you're just like another duck in the pond. Because there's a million ducks out there. Yeah. There's only like a few little geese.
You might see a silly goose. He'd have like a funny hat on or something.
Yeah, maybe like a funny facial hair. Maybe like a monocle. Silly geese always got silly frames for their glasses.
Oh, that's fun. Like Bruce Valanche.
Yes, I know who that is.
Do you know Bruce Valanche?
I mean, don't we all know Bruce Valanche?
I feel like I was born knowing Bruce Valanche.
Bruce
Valanche is not afraid of a... Dane's hurriedly Google.
Yeah, I know who Bruce Valanche is. I'm not typing his name into the... Oh, wow. Yeah.
But he'll have a shirt that says, like, you're stepping on my dick.
Yeah, be Bruce Valanche. Channel your own Bruce Valanche.
Steal unabashedly from me. Do all the jokes from the 2006 Oscars. It's all jokes about city slickers. Dane brought in the subject of baseball to Rebrand, which I really love. And Dane, you want to talk about your experience with baseball? Do you like baseball?
I like baseball.
And did you play high school?
No, I like tore a ligament in my foot during basketball tryouts. And then I stopped playing sports completely. This is what happened. I'm very insecure about I'm very insecure about my nipples. I had very like pokey mole-like nipples.
When you say mole-like?
Like a mole's face, because I also have very hairy nipples. So it looks like a mole's mouth. Okay. And so for some reason during this freshman basketball tryouts at high school, the coach was like, all right, we're playing shirts versus skins.
In that class, there's like 3 people who are like, hell yeah. And then there's 11 kids who that's their worst living nightmare come true.
And that was me. Yeah. And I had an undershirt on and I was like, can I just keep it on but play for skins? Because I was like, please don't. They're like picking teams. Yeah. I was like, just give me shirts. And then I get skins and I was like, can I just keep my undershirt on? And he was like, yeah, I guess.
The only way it would have been worse if there was a team, it was shirts and skins and nipples. And the people who were called nipples, they just had to wear shirts that had like holes cut out for their nipples. Do you have any baseball stories you want to tell?
Okay, so this was probably like first year I like started really pitching and I didn't know like how to throw a curveball during the game. I was just like, what if I just like try to throw a curveball? And I threw a perfect curveball.
And what you said was that it was so powerful, like everybody sort of stopped.
And everyone went, whoa. I had a main coach and then my dad was like an assistant coach. The main coach took me out and was like, don't do that again. And then my dad came up to me and was like, that was pretty fucking sick.
There's tragedy in every aspect of that story where it's like little Dane all of a sudden like discovered the superpower and then was immediately pulled from the game so he wasn't allowed to use it at all.
I'm just a child who's curious, and immediately an adult's like, never do that again.
Because it was too powerful.
Never explore your own creativity.
It's like the person who handed Miles Davis a trumpet first. He played one gorgeous note, and they're like, nope.
Try the oboe.
You're going to be an accountant. Let's rebrand baseball, shall we?
Yeah.
All these pitches of mine are just, how can we make this more fun? First pitch, each team gets to use one giant glove for one inning in each game. This glove is 15 feet tall.
And it's manned by one player.
I like the idea of there being one person inside the glove, and then he has like a handler almost, like another guy who has to tell him.
One person's the eyes, one person's the feet.
Exactly, yep.
Okay. And you can't close the glove, but it will catch it?
It's like the heel of the glove is like kind of cup-shaped. It's going to catch nearly every ball that's hit towards it.
I like that. Do they get a giant bat?
For one at bat, you get a giant bat.
And that should also be manned by like 3 people. Oh, there should be a condition where you do something and then you get more people. So like, imagine you only earn one person to swing the big bat. It's not going to go that far. If you steal a base, maybe you unlock one more person.
The guys that swing the bat, there's 3 of them total, and they have to be identical triplets. Who doesn't like seeing triplets do stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to pitch one?
Okay, as a spectator watching baseball, the most fun thing that you could probably encounter is that the ball might come to you. If you catch a ball, you have to bat.
Nice.
You immediately get called to bat.
Right away, next at bat is the whoever caught the ball.
Yeah.
Child, man, woman.
And now your points count as 2.
That's so great. If you're from the crowd, you end up touching home plate, that's 2 points. Powerful. I'm immediately watching that.
Because then it becomes like an everyman's game. I think players should be allowed to fight like in hockey.
Sure.
But if it escalates, the game gets to continue and the mascots deal with it on the sidelines.
One mascot against another one in like a cage match. Yeah, I think that's great. All right. I think that gifted Irish actor Colin Farrell gets one at bat in every MLB game. There's so many games in a season. Pretty early on, I think Colin Farrell's going to say, please let me stop. I don't want to do this anymore. This is bad for my health. I'm also having difficulty doing any film work. But then I think over a season, people are going to start to see themselves in Colin Farrell. And just him getting to the end of the season, I think could be this beautiful redemption story for all of America.
And I think we need to clarify that he's playing every game.
Every game.
There's like 30 something teams. He's hitting every single game in a day. It's no longer like a man playing baseball. It's more like a man on like a spiritual mission to defeat baseball.
Wow. That's beautiful. That at the end of the season, it's Colin Farrell 1, baseball 0.
Okay. I have one. Periodically throughout the season, Santa makes random appearances, random games throughout the season, plays a couple innings. If Santa does appear in your game, everyone in the stadium gets hot cocoa.
Also, like, everyone's going to start believing that magic is real again. And the positive effect I think could have on the population, I don't know if you've noticed, I feel like things are a little polarized lately.
Polar.
I feel
North Polar.
Okay, lucky child fan picked at random gets to coach the Oakland A's for an entire season.
I love that.
And I do think it'd be fun if they're required to attend parents' job day or whatever. You bring your dad in and he's like, I'm a dentist. Boring. This kid's going to come in with all the Oakland A's. So we're making a kid real popular, which I think is really fun. Along similar lines, Florida Marlins have to play against the 2023 Little League World Champions, and the Marlins have to play their hardest, so it should be a blowout.
I think if the Little League World Champions win, they should get to replace the Marlins. Like they play in the MLB and the Marlins play in the Little League World Series. Because imagine that team makes it to the World Series and now you have the Dodgers versus...
I want them to be called the Lil Marlins. I got another one. San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria will play first base for the Padres for the entirety of the postseason. So that's just a fun one for San Diego.
The game of baseball, we've made it a lot more fun, but what's more incentive than like knowing that you're going to a baseball game and you might see someone die? I saw the Giants play once, and they have a tradition where every home run that the Giants get, they plant 23 trees. But like, what if you really raise the stakes? Every opposing team home run, you kill 23 people in the stadium. I think it's like the Blue Jays or someone. They have like a thing where like a guy dresses up as the Flash or like Mr. Freeze or something. And then like a fan races him around the field. And if you beat him, then you get like a car, like a Nissan Altima or something. And then 23 people, or if you get multiple home runs, that's like what, 46, 69. That's a great number. All 69 of those people are racing this guy. If you beat him, you live. If you don't beat him, you die.
And then how are the executions performed? Is it like middle of the field, hangman style?
That's a good question. Because if it's in the middle of the field, do the bodies stay? Like they become then obstacles for the game.
I mean, if we're going like full dystopia, we should just allow the corpses to litter the field, because just watching the baseball players try to like maneuver around them and they're probably trying not to throw up, some of them not to cry, stuff like that.
And that incentivizes players to kind of, have a strong will. They had to be really focused on the game. They could have hundreds of dead bodies on that field.
Man, that's devastating. I have kind of a cute one. If a professional baseball player has a pet, they have to care for it in field for 1 game per season. But whether it's a gerbil or a puppy dog, you have to bring it on the field. And by care for it, I mean if it needs to be pet, if it wants to play fetch, it gets hungry, you need to give it snacks, stuff like that.
Take it on a walk. Okay, so what happens if like you have a dog? What if they get the ball?
Right.
What happens?
Gameplay continues. Let's say you have a German Shepherd. He's in shortstop with you, and he grabs the ball and he runs off. The person who hit the ball can just get an inside the park home run if they don't get the ball away from the dog.
But what if the dog gets an out?
Then I think that counts as an out.
Okay.
He effectively acts like a player on the field.
That's sick.
Which, how much fun would that be? Like, I would totally cheer for that dog to, like, run off. Every once in a while, like, an animal will get loose on the field, and it's everybody's favorite part of the game. Them trying to catch that animal,
Like a nice little bunny? Oh my God. That's beautiful. Now that we're talking about animals, I have one. At some point in the game, a colony of bees is released, but the players are allowed to put on bee suits.
Only allowed, not required.
Yeah. Because, some people, they have that connection with bees. I went through like a month period where I opened my sets with, when's the last time anyone got stung by a bee? Everyone was like, when I was a child. No one gets stung by bees anymore. It's like we've learned to cohabitate.
Do you think children today are getting stung by bees? Or you think nobody's getting stung by bees anymore?
I think it's a child-only thing. Totally. I think bees have a vendetta against children. Name me an adult who's been stung by a bee. I
think it should be a rule that 1 game per season. Modern Family and Married with Children star Ed O'Neill once again trots out his put-upon husband shtick to the boredom and derision of fans at every Dodgers home game. So I don't know if I was feeling particularly angry about Ed O'Neill when I wrote that, but
it does seem like Ed O'Neill did something maybe to you in the past or in a dream.
And he didn't, not that I'm aware of.
I wonder if it's like, did you watch WWE at all?
I watched WWF a little bit when I was growing up.
Okay. The bad guys are called heels. So it's like people who like purposefully want people to hate them. Is it like that situation where Ed O'Neill's kind of like egging them on?
They're like, boo. He's interrupting the game, performing a scene from Married with Children or from like a lesser episode of Modern Family.
In the middle of the game.
Yeah, and the audience is like, boo. He like pulls out the couch and stuff. And they're like, and it's not even any of the co-stars. It's like mediocre actors who are coming out and performing the scene with him, And he's like, shut up.
Let me finish.
I'm here to act. Okay, there's a rule where each player eats 1 full hot dog during the game. The crowd, when they enter the stadium, they're given like pretty high power condiment bottles that can fire mustard and ketchup on them.
That's crazy because that makes a whole section of the field very slippery.
Yeah, it's going to be real sloppy over there.
Every player?
Yeah, every player is required to finish a hot dog. Okay, I got another one. So alternating innings, there's 10 more people on defense, and then the next inning on defense, there's just 1 guy. So it goes from too many guys in the field, like sort of a clumsy number of guys, to 1 guy. Because watching 1 man try to deal with all the bases, he's got to pitch.
Is there a catcher still?
I think he's got to play the catcher as well.
So he's got to pitch and then run and catch.
Yeah, totally. The scores are going to become astronomical. They're going to be like basketball scores, but it's not going to be one-sided because in the next inning, their team's going to have to pick 1 guy to pitch, catch, play first, second, third, and all the outfields.
Imagine how fun it is when that 1 guy is Colin Farrell.
Let's say he's on his 60th game. And just for yucks, they say it's got to be you, Farrell. Okay, my last one is that I think the umps are allowed to eat nachos at any point. I think that we all love the, like, strike. Well, first of all, I think they should be allowed to cuss. Like, they should be like, fucking strike! And then I think they should have to some kind of breakdancing to match any of the calls.
It does seem like the umpire is kind of like supposed to stay hidden. And only supposed to like come out once the play is deemed over. No one knows the umpires' names. We don't even acknowledge them as people. They're just arms to us. I think giving them some sort of way to express themselves. What if people have different ways of displaying a strike through dance?
Yeah, it becomes art, and of course, everybody's gonna have their favorite. This guy does a legitimately powerful moonwalk. He's the fucking hit of the city.
No one's caring that they just lost the game. They're like,
No.
look at this electrifying performance.
Yeah, man. It's really gonna reunite us with the power of dance. You see like a 50-year-old man, because like you're saying, they never get to feel seen.
Yeah.
Also, of course, like to be hired as an umpire now, you're gonna have to be a great dancer. It just seems really beautiful to me.
Yeah. I think we've made baseball kind of into an art.
I think it's no longer a game.
It's a performance.
Yeah. It's a piece of competitive theater, which is like its own genre.
I love this.
How can the people find you?
Oh, hey, it's me, Dane. I've been here this whole time. You find me on Dane Comedy. I post silly little things maybe every like month when I finally get footage that I deem good enough to let the public view. Meanwhile, I hoard like a dragon does to his gold all my stand-up videos. It's hours of just rock solid material that I'm never going to show anybody. But the ones that you do, oh my God, you're so lucky. Go on Dane Comedy and find out what you're missing.
Wow, powerful. You can find us on the socials at Rebrand the Podcast. You can email us any questions or suggestions you have for the show at rebrandthepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Patreon. Just look up Rebrand on Patreon and you should be able to find us, and you can join our Discord, and at some point we're going to be releasing like unedited videos, most likely, shit like that. Dane, thank you so much for coming on, dude. You're the best.
Thank you. I love you so much.
I love you. I've always loved you. I'll love you till long after I'm dead.
Oh, that is great to hear. And I'm glad that we now have it immortalized on the internet.
It's legally binding. Bye.
Bye.